Hey, let's talk about games. Good morning, guys and girls. Welcome to a Terminator talk-through video for Space Hulk Tactics. What we're going to be doing in this is compressing down just to the Terminator turns, what to do to complete this mission and make your life a little bit easier. I know the game is a little bit tough, especially when you get going, but this should give you almost a copy and paste format and an idea as to perhaps a thought process to make your game, well, a little bit safer. What we're going to do to begin with is open the door. I prefer to use a Just Sergeant first. Walk forward a tile. We're going to shoot the door with a free shot on every movement, one of the benefits of the Stormbolter, and a pretty big benefit at that. And our aim is to get as far down as we can. So, moving on from here, we're going to bring the Apothecary right the way forward. It doesn't matter the exact tiles at this point. We're just simply getting everyone out of the spawn points. Our aim is going to be to get this happy little chappy down towards this room to cover this long corridor. Now, this is a fairly risky start. What I find useful to do at this point is to check and see if you have any, let's say, useless cards, which you don't want to be using straight away. Now, this card is not a bad one, but it gives me 4 extra points, so I'm going to be using this to get myself further down and shoot this door. You will see why in a moment. But we're going to bring him right the way down to here now. Okay, so that's the end of the first turn. Right, now here we are in turn 2. You can see a couple of blips have head toward me down in the bottom right. We are going to go towards those and we are going to open this door. I know you're thinking right now, Hydra, you're headed right the way towards 2 Tyranids and you're using most of your points, if not all of your points, and you've got a few Tyranids to take down. Well, we have a backup plan to take this on. We're going to come back to this unit in a moment. For now, we're going to move any ranged unit forward and along here. We're going to open this door and we are going to step through. Going to bring the Apothecary down just to provide a little bit of support if needed, and we're going to be bringing all of the rest of the ranged units ready here to move along. Now, if you can't go through a door, I'd recommend going to the tile behind diagonally, because you can expend 1 point to move from here diagonally forward to this tile, whereas if you go behind, it's going to take you 1-2 points to move forward. So that's an extra point saved. It's going to be useful. Now, I'm going to be selling this card just to get an extra couple of points. I get a free shot while I'm here, so we're going to see how many of these we can clear out while we're here. We're going to take the free move forwards, and the aim here is to get to a point where we're blocking this spawn point from, well, releasing Tyranids. So that is leaving us with 0 squad AP. Now, if I leave this guy here, he is almost guaranteed to die. So we're going to use the Librarian just to block this tile for this turn only. We shouldn't need to do this for too long, but this is just going to keep things a little bit safer while we get everyone else into position. 0 squad AP left, and now we're going to move on to the next turn. Right, now we're on the next turn. You can see a bunch more Tyranids have appeared out of the spawn points on the left, and we also have up in the top right a couple that have broken down through the rubble. Now, they don't always do this and appear here, but if they do, don't worry, this plan also caters to this. With the Apothecary, we're going to be moving along here, getting ready to open this door, because this door provides us with access to the long corridor here where many of the enemy reinforcements are coming from. In a way, this game reminds me a little bit like chess. If you can cover the long corridors, the long diagonals, anything that denies enemies movement, you're onto a winner. Now, this guy is going to be in a spot of trouble if we leave him here unprotected. What we're going to do is backpedal him one. I'm lucky enough to play this card to give him a bonus to range Overwatch stance for this turn. So we're actually going to put him on Overwatch. He'll now have a 50% chance for every tile they move across to kill them. If you did not have this card, what I would be tempted to do is play anything you can to kill what you can, and then again use the Psycho ability to block it off. If you're able to kill enough of them so you have maybe 3 to 4 tiles between you, maybe then go on Overwatch. Now, I don't have any spare squad AP at this point, so what I'm going to do is play this card just to get an extra 2 squad AP. Now, moving on from here, we're going to bring the Librarian out of the way. We're going to get him to move down here. He's going to get a couple of free shots on this rubble as he goes. There we go. So that's cleared this long path now. We're not going to use that squad AP though. We're going to need that. And we've got a heavy flamer at the back at this point. The heavy flamer is going to be very, very useful. We're going to be using that to block off this passageway, because we have a bunch of Gene Stealers here that currently would love nothing but to head towards us and bite our bums. So what we're going to do is just hold tight here. We're going to use the flames. It's not going to get a kill, but it is going to keep us safe. If we don't use this, we might have to use a Psyker ability. I've got 4 more force barriers left to use. I'm going to try and save those. I've got 2 points left to clear jams for this character. Now, I could use the psychic power here, but as I've got the bonus to the Overwatch, we're going to just simply cross our fingers. But he should be okay with the 3 tiles moving between. The only one that poses a bit more risk is this one that can jump from here to here and, well, could pose a little bit of trouble, but let's cross our fingers. Right, now here we are again. The enemy saw I was on Overwatch and reacted in a way to keep the Gene Stealers safe. I believe the enemy was pretty sure, probability-wise, they weren't going to be getting close to me. What we're going to do is back off again. Now we have access to a couple of extra cards. 4 more action points for a single unit, pretty good. Plus 3 on his next shot, also pretty good. What we're going to do though is start clearing out this long corridor here. We're going to move forward with the Apothecary, taking advantage of the free shots each time. Trying to see if we can open that door. There we go. So now we've got access to a couple of Tyranids that we can start shooting. And I do have a card that I might as well use, giving me plus 3 to my next shot. You could argue perhaps to save these, but me personally, I like to use these as and when I can, because it's going to save me action points if I'm successful in my action. I've got 1 point left for him. We're going to cross our fingers. If not, there is a backup plan. Moving the Psyker down now. We're going to bring him down to here just to begin with. And we're going to move the next assault down here. Move the Flamer forward too. And he's going to have access now to shoot further down this tunnel. And he's starting to push the Tyranids back. There we go. Now, the Flamer itself has a 90% chance to kill something that's on that tile, so it's pretty reliable, and you can almost guarantee it's going to be successful. I'm going to play this card to get the extra action points at this time, because, well, it's going to be very helpful to me. Do excuse me. So, you're going to move along here. We're going to come down there. We're going to take advantage of our free shot. And we're going to keep moving forwards, because we do want to advance through this map. There we go. We've still got 2 points left for him, so we're going to move him right the way forwards. Why are we not putting him on Overwatch? Well, at this point, there's nothing spawned here. By the time they make it through, they'll be stuck in this corridor, and I will be able to shoot them next turn either way. So the 2 points on Overwatch I could simply use to position myself a little bit better. Nearly forgot, this guy needs to be on Overwatch. Now remember, he's got zero AP left. We have 0 squad AP. We're going to actually sell this, although I'd have loved to play it. We need to sell it, and we're also going to use this to step him backwards, just so he's got a bit of extra space. He's still got 1 AP left to clear a jam. It should be enough. 2 AP would probably have been preferable, because, well, if this guy was a player, he could have spammed all of these units through, and that would have put my guy in a little bit of trouble if he jammed twice, which is possible. Now, as predicted, the units on the left are aware that their stat, the probability of them killing me, is pretty darn low at the moment. So what we're going to be doing is making a break for it over here. We're going to move along. We're going to take down this Nid first. We're going to get right up close to him, taking advantage of the free shots. Now, this is risky, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but it's worked for me thus far. Now, we can go forward 2 pips here, gaining us access to this long corridor, which is where we wanted to go in the first place. If the enemies hadn't have attacked me here, I would have ran straight the way forward and then fired these shots here, which is really blocking off 2 of the spawn points, which is wunderbar, exceptionally helpful. We don't have Overwatch here, but we're going to come back to that. We have this character here who's going to move along. We need to get down to this objective to pull it back up. And we also have an Apothecary here who is going to move right the way forwards to there. Now, this is all part of the Grand Master plan. Everything's going to unfold soon and make a little bit more sense, don't you worry. For now, we're going to keep this guy. on Overwatch here with 2 pips spare. So he's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 opportunities to shoot these enemies. And he's got 2 extra reloads available to him. So he's pretty much looking good right now. We also have a couple of other cards we can play, but again, some of these aren't perhaps the best. Let's crack on with the next turn and see what we can do. Actually, I'll tell you what, let's take advantage of the tip I have. If you're not going to play a card because you don't think it's very good, convert it. Make use of the actual points and do something more useful. So we're going to move this man down here with the remaining 2 squad AP, get him that little bit closer to the objective. Now, let's move on. Right, so here we are in the next turn. As predicted, a couple of the Tyranids have moved out because I'm not on Overwatch up here, which is fine by me. We've only got 1 to take down. Also, if we go along here, when he's done yapping away, we've got a few more Tyranids still waiting there because they see I am on Overwatch. Now, what we're going to do here is turn the Apothecary around. We're going to place him on Overwatch now. We're going to take our Sarge and we're going to get him the hell out of there because he's in a little bit of trouble if he stays there all game. You don't necessarily have to get him out because, well, he could just stay there and block that tunnel the entire game. But being able to deny this corridor is pretty handy. We can also play extra cards to make him a little bit more effective, one could say. +2 on shots is very useful, but I have plans at the moment. So this guy's picked up the servo skull that he needs. We're going to try and get some extra pips if we can. Unfortunately, all of my cards are actually quite useful right now, but I'm going to sell the one that makes flame last for 2 turns. Even though I really like this card and find it very effective. I'm going to move this guy forward another 2 pips. We're going to fire here. There we go, clearing out a little bit of space. And what we're going to do is stray forward slowly. We've still got another 4 turns worth of directional blocking available from this character. So what we're going to do is buy us a little bit of time just by plugging this gap, as it were. Okay, good. So that's that area blocked this turn. I'm now going to use him to walk up here and face up this direction. It's all going to make sense in a moment, but this gives me the opportunity to clear out this corridor now from another direction, and I've only got 2 flame rounds left, so basically we're covering all of the angles. Everything's looking safe. The enemies can't proceed from here, although they can move up to this point now. They will die before they make their way into this room to try and attack him, or at least hopefully they will. And, well, that's just about it for now. Let's actually use 1 or 2 of those squad AP to just get this guy a bit further out. There we go. Just in case 1, 2... Yeah, he would only get 2 shots moving at them through this corridor if they were feeling brave. So that's probably a little bit more risky than I should do, because in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they could get right up close to him now. So we, I think, made the right call there in getting the hell out of there. Right, so as predicted, the units up here have stepped forward out toward the flame. We now have a unit here at the ready to do some shooting for them. That's looking good. We don't have this long corridor covered on the right, but that's okay because we have this guy coming up the rear here. Now, the Apothecary is going to slowly strafe backwards. We have spotted some Xeno, and I know what you're thinking. The corridor down here is looking a little bit, well, kind of naked right now, but that's okay. We've got all of this covered. We go from here. What we're going to do is play a card. Now, if you don't have this card at this point, it doesn't really matter. We're just going to use this to get some kills. We're also going to play this card so the kills get some extra side points. And we're going to discard our hand and get 3 new cards. Reason being is one of the cards might be better. Discard hand and get 6 new cards. Even better. We're going to discard this to get some extra AP. Now, I'm going to take advantage of his card that he's played. He's now going to get some pretty good odds to kill Tyranids as he advances. There we go. And that one was a dummy. Perfect, which means we can now simply go into Overwatch here. And with his +2 to ranged attacks, he's got a very healthy amount of range damage, we could say. We're going to bring the Sarge up all the way along. He's going to be hightailing it out of there. Going to put the Apothecary on Overwatch. We're going to take advantage of the extra psychic points we've just used. And we're going to block off this unit from down south from coming any further. Now, we've got 0 squad AP at this point, and we do have a potential corridor for them to advance down. I'd rather they didn't, so I'm actually going to sell well, the one card I'd really rather not sell, but I need the points. So we're going to move forward. You'll notice both of these tiles are 2 points. So we're going to go simply to this one. And we're going to have just enough left to go into Overwatch. Now, you'll find that the enemies won't always move down here. Sometimes they'll hold in this little corridor. If they're holding down here, it is a little bit risky to advance up and through, but it is doable. You just sometimes have to use a card or two to block the way. But thus far, we've blocked this advance from the enemy. We've blocked this advance from the enemy. We have blocked this advance from the enemy. We don't have any squad AP left, so we are a little bit weak now when it comes to jams, but we're also far away enough that if the enemy does advance on us, that even if we do jam, they're not going to be able to make their way into melee. So we've also got the heavy flamer guy down here at the ready. We're going to poke him just out the corner there, so if need be, if say 2 of them come out next turn and I decide I want to flame them instead of shooting, that's going to be an option for us. Right, let's see what happens on the next turn. Right, wonderful. So the enemies up here now actually had an exclamation mark. Because of my proximity with this guy to the spawn points, they weren't able to spawn last turn, which is super, super handy. With this guy here, we're going to slowly step forwards. We do have a pit down here, which we're going to have to be careful of, but we should be safe from it for now. So we're going to go forward 2 pips here. With this guy, we're just going to make a little observation as to how close he is, because he can move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He can actually get pretty darn close to me if he so wishes. It's going to cost me 2 to turn around with my Terminator, then 3, then 4. So what I think we're going to do, and this is going to be just making things a little bit, let's say, safer for us, is we are going to get us some extra points by selling this. We are going to be turning around and hightailing it out of there. Now, we do still have an Overwatch available to us. We've got 4 squad AP left. We're going to use 1 to get this Terminator here. We're going to use Overwatch with him here. We're going to turn to face upwards, because what we're going to be doing is using the Psyker ability yet again to cover our escape. We've still got 3 turns worth of using this, so we're safe as houses right now. It doesn't really matter. I could just place this simply here just to keep this unit further away. I think that's probably the best use. You could place it here if you want to allow the enemies closer to you, if, say, you had a card that gave you bonuses when you killed them. Don't forget to go on Overwatch over here, but we are going to step a little bit closer just to allow a gap for one of our units to move through. And that's plenty of squad AP as well as plenty of tiles here to give us an opportunity to shoot them. We're continuing to move the Sergeant through, even though it's not necessarily important right now because, well, he is safe. But we're going to bring him through anyway because, well, that's the type of Terminator I am. And then we're going to move forward from here. Guys, we're nearly done. Right, so here we are, probably 2 turns from completing this. The enemies are advancing. Over on the left here, you can see that they're all shifting down the corridor. Now I'm not on Overwatch anymore. And up ahead, we have a couple that have managed to finally spawn. I think what we're going to do is keep this guy here on Overwatch. Basically, with 2 AP here, these units are not going to get to him. They're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 opportunities to shoot him. Okay, I'll tell you what, it is possible that he will miss this, but he has a 33% chance of hitting each time. So, I mean, it's probably going to happen. What I think I'll do, just to be safe, is give him an extra bonus to the next shot. So the first one that walks through the corridor here is almost guaranteed to die. If not, he is guaranteed to die. Now, over here, we're going to be bringing up the chap with the servo skull. It's important that the first one in this corridor has it, otherwise you're going to have to do a very awkward game of shuffling up here. We're going to bring the Apothecary up here, and what we're going to be doing is using this ability to just simply hold the enemies further back. Now, what you'll notice again here is this unit never moved last turn. I think it's a little bit confused as to where it could go. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold units towards the spawn. Seems like a better placement for it this turn, although it would feel safer having it right on his derriere. So we are also going to sell this and get a couple of extra points. This is going to cost me a 2 AP to go forward. What I'm going to do is go right the way up to here, making me feel safe as houses. I'm going to go forward there. There we go, we're out of squad AP now. And we're going to start to turn the Apothecary around just in case we need to. So this is pretty much GG right here, but we'll carry it through right the way to the end. Sometimes you have to do a little bit of awkward shuffling. If you didn't go first with the servo skull, then what I would suggest you do is walk another tile forward with this unit and hold this, and then simply move him forward and move the servo skull through. If you run out of psychic points at any point in time, you could bring the flamer into the equation and he would be able to help. Right, so here we are on the last turn. As you can see, all we have to do is walk over to this door here. We have to open it up. I think we might run out of AP just before we get there. No, we didn't. And there we go. If it took another turn, everyone would simply turn around on Overwatch, but that is GG. Guys and girls, I hope you find the video useful. I hope this gives you an idea as to how these missions can be played. With certain strategies and certain ways of manoeuvring them around the map, you really can reliably beat the AI, really take advantage of the Overwatch system. If you have about 3+ tiles between you and them and a couple of spare AP, you're going to be okay, provided all of your exits are covered. Just make sure you keep that librarian ability handy for any of those times where you haven't got into position yet. That first setup with the Sergeant is probably the riskiest part of this mission. If you have any cards at that point to help you kill them a bit quicker, use them. If not, you can always backpedal a little bit while you get into a better Overwatch position and then just let them come into this room down here. So by that I mean, instead of walking right the way up to the door and opening it, you could come back here, shoot the door open, and use the force blocking ability for a couple of turns on this tile, giving you still 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles worth of shooting them potentially. But that's all for now, guys. Hope you enjoy the video. I'll see you next time. All the best.